Happy Monday, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving week. So, I'm going to piggyback on Greg's missive this week and actually expand it. So, you notice that Greg's talking about politics, um, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I've talked to you before and clients that you can't take politics out of money. Some people feel uncomfortable talking about politics and money, but they're part and parcel. If you pull out your currency, who's printed on the front of the currency of any country? Dead politicians, right? And then who prints those currencies? Politicians. Who writes the laws that affect the tax code? Politicians. When we dumped the stimulus checks into our country during COVID, who did that? Congress. In our country, who appoints the Secretary of the Treasury? Who is a politician? The top politician, right? So it's all connected. And what Greg was talking about, President Trump, President-elect Trump, really fighting against the bureaucracy, the deep state, the federal government, the unappointed or unelected government. Well, I'm going to actually look around the globe because I don't think that this is just here in the US. What Greg and I are thinking is how this affects the rest of the world. Because if you think that, there's folks in Washington who don't want the change that Trump is promising, well, what about the rest of the world, right? Imagine you're a Ukrainian. Don't even think about Zelensky. Think about his deep state. Think about all of his appointees that have, monthly paychecks that come in, that they're reliant on U.S. money coming in from defense contractors who are setting up base over there, or American corporations that are going over there to help support the war effort, right? Think about Taiwan, China. Trump has said, you know, China wants to take over Taiwan. Wait a minute, why is this our number one concern? We should be asking, why aren't we making chips here in the United States? That's the bigger question. Well, how do you think the folks over in Taiwan feel about that? You think they're just going to say, oh, well, the United States isn't going to support us anymore? Think the folks in Ukraine are going to say, oh, well, the United States isn't going to support us anymore? I don't think so. And really, that's where it comes back to in our American lingo is the swamp. The swamp is the entirety of Washington, D.C. There's only a few elected officials that are actually serving in Washington, D.C., but there are, you know, hundreds of thousands of individuals working in that system that live on the taxpayers' dollars. But those taxpayer dollars are going around the globe. And so this conflict is going to be around the globe on this. And you look at what happened with Brexit, right? We'll give it a specific example. England wanted to leave the EU. Did the EU just say, oh, well, all right, I guess England's gone. Now we can just move along with ourselves? Absolutely not. There was fierce economic conflict with that. Europe was punishing England for that decision to go out on their own. Germany, especially, they were just pounding pounding England. So I think that's a real world example we can look to. And I think we've got that looking forward here. Now, we're going to do well. How we've got this invested, that ultimately, none of this matters in terms of our videos outside of how are we managing your money and is your money protected and will it grow? Yeah, it will grow. These are hard assets. If there is conflict, the good thing is that these hard assets will be in greater demand. That's not necessarily good for folks' pocketbooks around the world, but if you own those, you'll continue to do well. So with that, you all have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.